Hey there, nonprofit founders. Get in the room. We're going live tonight, Sunday Night Live, to talk about five things you need to go live or to go full time with your nonprofit. So, I'm actually breaking down 5 topics that I'm going to be sharing in my free Startup Founder Challenge this week. And y'all do not want to miss this. Y'all don't want to miss this. So get in the room. If you are new to my channel, I'm Tiffany. I created Boss in the Budget to help people start their nonprofits because there's so much information, first of all, that goes over people's heads. People don't talk from the perspective of the ground up. And also, people are very territorial about information. They want you to pay a whole lot of money just to get simple information. And when you go to the IRS, it can be confusing, it can be overwhelming, and flat out scary. So, the reason why I created Boss Budget is to help people navigate this journey because it's not always easy and you need someone to talk to. You need someone to help you through the journey. So, welcome, y'all. Thank you so much. We're going to talk today about what it takes to go full time, even if you're light years away from that. That's okay. The whole point of me talking about this is how can you prepare yourself now? That's the whole point of this challenge. Hey, Mariatu, how are you? How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Just a lot going on. Hey, Brandy, welcome. Thank you. Hey, Nikki, thank you for coming. Y'all ready? So, y'all know the drill. Okay, so I'm going to bring up what I said earlier this year. Always be pitching. You down with ABP? So, y'all got to be comfortable sharing who you are, where you're from, what you do, because you don't know the collaborations that will come out of this. And I did not forget last week, y'all promised me that y'all were going to collaborate with people and you're going to hold me accountable for collaborating with people as well on my YouTube channel. I didn't forget. Embracing Hearts, I don't know if you meant to put a request to be on my live video. I'm just telling you now. I don't do that partly because I don't know. I don't know how to navigate that. One day I'll do it. All right. So while we're doing that, introduce yourselves, tell people who you are, say hello, all the good things, because I want us to build community in the chats. All right. So today we're going to talk about 5 things. This is my first question for you before we even go through the 5 things. If you are watching me right now, if you hear my voice right now, have you signed up for my free 5-day challenge? If you have not, my first question is, what are you doing? Some of y'all get a pass because y'all have been emailing me saying, oh, I got to work. I can't make this one. I get it. Cool. But if you just haven't signed up, I'm looking at you like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So Yolanda's going to be dropping the link to sign up for the challenge. So you have to actually sign up because you'll get emails, you'll get information and reminders as a part of the challenge. So that's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is if you want to have Zoom sessions with me. So I actually do private group Zoom sessions with people who want just extra time and attention with me. I have a success kit. It's a PDF. It's like a kit of exercises and homework only for the VIP folks. So if you want VIP access and you need help separate from the challenge, you need to sign up for the VIP pass, and Yolanda's going to be dropping that too. And if you don't see that, you can do info. You can email us at info@bostonbudget.com. So first things first, make sure you are signed up for the challenge because I'm teaching for free, 5 days in a row. And it's meaty stuff. It's no fluff. I don't do fluff. Can y'all tell? I do not do fluff. So just make sure you are signed up. All right. So we got the business out the way. Let's get to the meat of the day. Okay. Let's get to the meat of the day. Let's talk about 5 things. So the way this challenge is structured, every day I talk about a different topic. And all of these topics will guide you to the full-time goal, right? And all these things you need to address and be aware of so you can start planting the seeds now to get to where you want to be. So the first thing we're going to talk about during the challenge, and then I'm going to talk about today, is leadership. Somebody put leadership in the chat for me because I need to know y'all out here with me. I need to know y'all hear me. And you know I like it when you chat back. You know I like it when I see you in the chat. I may not always be able to see it because I got 40-year-old eyes. But go ahead and put it in the chat, leadership. And when I say leadership, I mean developing you as the leader. This is the thing that a lot of nonprofit founders, this is where you get stuck, or it's hard to move to the next phase, is because you're so stuck in doing the work. You don't necessarily see that you're the leader of your nonprofit. You don't actually see that people are looking to you. People are modeling themselves and how they treat the nonprofit. They're modeling after how you treat the nonprofit, how you work. They're looking at you. They're watching you, whether you realize it or not. Your board is watching you. People outside are watching you. External people, donors, founders. Hey, Veronica, I can't wait to hear about your events. I know it went well. So what you need to understand is you are actually the leader of your nonprofit. You're not the person doing the work. If you're going to be the CEO of your nonprofit, then you got to position yourself that way and get your mind right. A lot of people, their mind is so focused on the doing that they don't realize they have to take a step back and actually lead. And they're not sure what that means and the skills that it takes. And really, before you even get to the skills, y'all, you got to get to your mind. You got to get to your mind. And that's every time that I talk about anything with nonprofit, especially with y'all, because you're starting new, you're starting fresh, and I know how hard it is. You always got to get your mind right. And it's a daily thing. I battle my mind all the time. I battle negative thoughts all the time. I had to get checked today about a negative thought I had about myself, right? So, what are the things and the shifts that you need to make consciously and sometimes subconsciously that you don't realize you're telling yourself, right? And so, there are 3 key mindset shifts that I talk about in the challenge, and it starts with day 1. And it's good, y'all. It's good. It's really, really good. So, we're going to talk about what does it take for you to fully step into your role so you can steer the organization the way it needs to go. Because this is the reality. If you get stuck in worker mode, I see Mariatu saying, I'm a worker bee. I'm so glad for your transparency. Thank you for being honest. So, if you get stuck in that mode, then it's going to be really hard for you to go to the next level and to get to the depths and get where you want to be in your nonprofit. If you do not get out of the worker bee mode and stop and take a step back and start strategically thinking about things, start strategically planning about things. All right? So let's hype up Veronica in the chat right now. So Veronica is one of my coaches. She's one of my coaching clients, and she had a fundraiser yesterday, a fundraising event yesterday. And we've been talking about it a couple of weeks. She's been working really, really hard. The name of her organization is Victory for Families. You can follow her on Instagram at Victory for Families Inc. She's on here right now on Instagram. And I haven't talked to her yet about it, but it looks like her event was a huge success. Can we hype up Veronica in the chat? Can we encourage her, y'all? I feel like I'm in church. Can we get a hand clap? I can't find my claps. That's because I'm blind. Veronica said all the hard work paid off. All right. So the first thing you have to do is step into your role as a leader, but understand the mindset shifts and the things that are holding you back from assuming your role as a leader. And so we're going to confront that. We're going to tackle that first, because if you don't tackle that first, then the other stuff is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to accomplish. And this is the thing. If you have limiting beliefs about your abilities, if you have limiting beliefs about your nonprofit, then there's only so many places you can go. There's only how many far you can go. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. So I'm not making sense, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's only so many places you can go. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. So we deal with the mindset first. So my question to you, because y'all not going to get off easy tonight, I'm going to make you talk. My question is, how many of you have thought of yourself as the leader? How many of you have actually said to yourself, what does it take for me to be a strong leader? When I go into a meeting, how can I assume the role as the leader? Or how many of y'all are just so focused on the work that you haven't even thought about that? Let's be honest. Have you really seen yourself as the CEO of your organization? Is that what you think of yourself? Is that how you position yourself when you talk about your nonprofit? Is that what you project to people? That you're the nonprofit? When you come into a space, do you come in with authority? Or do you come in from a place of, I don't know if they really gonna help me, but maybe. So all these things you need to be conscious of and aware of. All right. So that's number one. Leadership. Leadership is the first thing. Assuming your role as a leader. So let's talk about the second thing, y'all. Y'all ready? I don't think y'all ready for this one. The second one is dealing with your board. So go ahead and put board in the chat. BOARD, board. I'm gonna go ahead and hype them up because I know they struggle. Like I said a couple weeks ago, your board be boarding. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. Okay, just go with me. But it's very hard to get a functioning board together. So let's admit that, because some of y'all are frustrated and you feel like it's you when your board is just not working out the way you want it to. I just want you to know it's not you, that everyone struggles with getting a working, functional, committed, engaged board. And this is a work in progress. It is not something that you magically get to and then it's like, boom, we good. For the rest of our nonprofit, we good. No, it's a constant thing. So that's the first thing. But you need to equip your board with the tools it needs so it can be the structure of your organization. See, some of y'all don't want to accept that you need a board, and I completely get where you're coming from. I get it, but you need a board. And if you thought about it the right way, your board can position you. Your board can be your foundation for you to be able to do what you need to do. So if your board is doing what they need to do, then you can feel freer, right? You can have the freedom to do what you need to do. So it's really important to invest in a strong board, even if you only have 3 in the moment. Having 3 strong board members is way better than having 10 uncommitted board members. So really investing in the right people and taking the time to do that, because you're not going to put out a request and then 2 weeks later, everybody's going to want to join your board. We got to be rooted in reality. This takes time. So you need to ask yourself, what does your board need to fully show up in the way it needs to? How are you connecting your board to your mission? How are you building relationships with them? These are questions that you probably haven't asked yourself yet, but you need to be asking yourself, what does my board need from me, right? In order to fully accept their roles, in order to fully move within their roles and responsibilities. Do they even know their roles and responsibilities? Do you know their roles and responsibilities? Hey, Beth. Right? Do you know? Because if you don't, then you're starting at a deficit. You should really understand why you need a board instead of focusing so much on the fact that you need one. Because a lot of people get stuck there. They don't want to accept it. So they're just like, I'm going to do this by myself because why do I even need a board? Instead of staying there, it's better for you to acknowledge the power of a strong board and do the things it takes to get there. Now, this is the problem. We get so focused on wanting to do the work that the work consumes everything. Us wanting to help people consumes everything. It's very, very important to do that. But it's just as important to invest in the people who are supporting you, who are helping you in the very beginning, because then they can help you go further. So there's only so much you can go, only so far you can go by yourself. And I want you to write that down, because we gotta accept that. There's only so many places you can go by yourself. So how are you going to invest in a strong board and invest in a strong team? Okay. I had to get a little quiet because that means I'm serious. I want y'all to get this. So my question is to you guys, what are the things you're struggling with most with your boards? I pretty much know the answer, but I want you to get comfortable sharing what your struggles are, because I want you to understand when you see other people respond, they're no different than you. You all are going through the same things, and it's okay. Okay. Hey, Jemiah. Okay, I start class January 8th. My degree program is a BS in community health. I was accepted Saturday. Congratulations. Congratulations. Very, very, very good. Y'all congratulate Jemiah in the chat. All right, number 3, y'all. We rolling through this thing. Number 3. Y'all ready? Number 3. Everybody can write this. Money. Everybody put money in the chat. Number 3 is money. Veronica says, I struggle with engaging my board. Yep. That's one of the hardest things. And during the challenge on day 2, I give you suggestions and things you can do to make your board meetings more engaging. So if you haven't signed up for the challenge yet, you need to make sure you do, because day 2, we're going to be talking about the board. Day 3 is about money. And if you want direct advice from me, you need to make sure you sign up for the VIP pass, because you can literally ask me anything on Zoom and you can talk. So on here, I can't hear you, but in our private VIP sessions, you're on Zoom. So make sure you sign up for the VIP pass. The price goes up tomorrow. So number 3 is money. And what I'm going to be talking about is 3 important things you need to be sustainable. And one thing I want y'all to realize is you have to get comfortable talking about money. You have to get comfortable looking at certain numbers. See, the thing for me is, like, when I'm looking at something and it seems insurmountable, or it seems like how could I ever reach that? Like, my mind can't even imagine how I could get to that number. Then for me, sometimes I begin to tell myself it's not possible, because I can't see that it's possible, or because I think it's not possible. I begin to tell myself there's no way I could do that. But we have to reverse that thinking. We have to be intentional. One thing I realized is I have to be very intentional. You got to be very intentional about how you think about money and what you say about money and how you move when it comes to money. If you are scared to ask for money, you're not going to be able to get to the point where you can be full-time. If you are scared to ask other people on your team for money and have those hard conversations about them contributing, then it's going to be hard for you to get where you need to go. If you are scared to write down what it really takes to run your program well, even if you won't be able to raise it the first year, but if you're afraid to put actual numbers on paper to really look at, because that's when it becomes real. If you are afraid to do that, then it's going to be hard for you to become full-time. So you got to have a hard look at how you think about money, how you talk about money, what you believe about what you're able to do. You got to conquer those things. Just because you don't think it can happen doesn't mean it won't happen. So you got to flip your mind so that it will happen. There are certain money goals that I have for my business. I've never seen that money before in my life, in my business. But just because I haven't seen it before, am I not going to try? Am I not going to put it out there and make it a goal? Then it wouldn't be a goal if I didn't do it. So come on, y'all. We all got to get our minds right when it comes to money. And you got to accept that it's okay to talk about money and be a nonprofit. You better be talking about money when you're a nonprofit. You absolutely have to. Because if you don't have money, you can't pay your staff. If you don't have money, you can't have good systems and processes to do good work for the people you're serving. You want to serve the people you have with poor services and lacking technology and burnt out staff. They deserve way more than that. And in order for you to do that and to show up for them, you got to have money. Okay. So we're going to talk about, on the 3rd day, 3 things you need to raise money. And I'm not talking about the here and now, because a lot of you are in the mode of, well, we're going to do an event here, an event here. We're going to do a car wash. We're going to do a bake sale. We're going to do a fish fry. And I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. Some people will be like, oh, that's small potatoes. Why are you talking about fish fry? You got a whole nonprofit. You know, in the Black community, that's our tradition. That's what we do. Like, that's how we raise money. So I would never down that. I think, though, when it comes to time for you to scale, you got to evolve from that. Take the lessons from that and then evolve. So I want to talk about what it takes from going from a fish fry to actually raising thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? We want to talk about what it's going to take for you to make big bucks, because in order for you to make big bucks, that's how you're going to survive. And what are the things you should be doing right now to make sure you get big bucks? Right? That's right. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Y'all, what are the things that come up for you when money is mentioned with your nonprofit? Tell me some things. What comes up for you when you hear people talk about money, or when you have a certain goal? What comes up for you? The thing that's interesting for me is a lot of times when I ask people what they want to raise and they finally come up with a number, when they tell it to me, they think it's a big number. But then when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's doable. Sometimes I wait in suspense, right? And I'll be like, man, they're gonna give me a really big number. Like, so I'm sitting and I'm waiting. And sometimes it's a lot of times it's not even over $50,000. And truth be told, it doesn't have to be that difficult to raise that money. I know it may feel like that for you, but what I'm saying to you is it's not that hard to be able to do it if you have the right strategies. So that's another example of how in our limited thinking, we think something is one way, but other people around you are like, oh yeah, that's possible. Oh, that's definitely possible. So open your mind, expand the possibilities of what is possible. Okay, y'all with me? Y'all still with me? All right. I love this comment from Dia. She said, I actually had to learn that it was okay to ask your board to contribute and write that into the bylaws. Amen. Amen. I don't have an amen, so I'm just going to do an air horn. It's okay. Because as I always say, who else is going to pay the money? Like, who else is going to contribute to the organization in the beginning? The founder? The founder has to be the one to put all the money up? How is that fair? When the founder doesn't have any ownership over the organization, but they're the only ones giving up money, that's not right. And that's a signal to me when someone says that, like a board member pushes back on giving money for a new startup organization, that's a signal to me that they don't really understand their role and they're not ready. They're not ready. So, well, we're going to talk about that on day 2. All right. So, y'all, let's go to day 4. Put programming in the chat. Your programming. This is actually my favorite day of the week. We're going to be talking about this on Thursday. It's my favorite day of the week because I love talking about how you can come into your own. It's about talking about how you can be an innovator in your space and how you can position your organization as unlike any other. What are the things that you can do so that when people see you, they see something that's different than everybody else? How can you be an innovator in your space? What are concrete things you can do to make that possible? Because when you're an innovator, people come to you. When you're an innovator, people are attracted to you. So you don't realize it yet. Some of y'all do, because maybe you've been in this space a long time, but you don't realize yet that a lot of foundations, especially when it comes to grants, they come to the program, they go to the programs. They're not doing regular proposal processes where they're asking people to send in proposals. A lot of these foundations move in silence. They check out people and they go to the people they want to work with. They ask around. They look at your track record. They look at your visibility. What are you doing? Are you in the media? What's your presence like online? And then they look at like research reports. They talk to people who they trust and they come to you. You may not realize it, but a lot of funding works like that. And the way you get people to come to you is by being an innovator, by doing something that nobody else is doing, or talking about something in a way that nobody else is talking about. That's how you get people to become attracted to you. And that's how you start making big bucks. And the reason why I'm saying big bucks is because you want to be full-time in your nonprofit. You want to be able to pay staff and have a good, solid structure. You need the bucks for that. And one of the best ways to do that is establish yourself as an innovator in your space. And we're going to talk about that, like what it takes so that people can model themselves after you. So that when you're long gone as a founder or when your organization is 50 years in, they're still talking about your organization and your particular model or your particular approach. You want people looking at what you do and say, yeah, I want to do it like this organization. Yeah, this is the Victory for Families model that we're going to implement in our organization. You want them to talk about you in that way. So we're going to talk about on day 4, the strategies and the tips to get you there, to establish you as a signature name in your space. Okay? All right. Now, last one. Number 5 is your pitch. Everybody put pitch in the chat. Can y'all put pitch in the chat for me? All right, this is a good one. Now, the reason why you need to be on this challenge, let me tell y'all the real reason, is not to get all the information. I mean, that's good. That's good. But the real reason why you want to be in this challenge is because sometimes, like I have my notes, but sometimes things just drop in my head and I just say it. It just comes to me. So when you catch me live, you don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what's going to come to me. You don't know what I'm pulling from that day. And a lot of times I'll say things, case in point, nonprofits got to eat too. I randomly said that one day on a live, and now I say it all the time. Now I have it on a shirt because nonprofits got to eat too, just like other businesses. One of the things I just came up with last time we did this challenge, always be pitching. Always be pitching. And what did I say, y'all? You down with ABP? And what y'all say back to me? Yeah, you know me. You got to always be ready. And I know it's not grammatically correct. It's okay. It's okay. I know that's right, Credit Champs. He said, we eating. That's right, Rashad, we eating. Veronica said, trademark that. I'm working on it. Always be pitching. Always be ready. Always position yourself to share what your nonprofit does and what you're about. So my question to you is, when people tell you or people find out that you have a nonprofit, what do you say to them? What do you say to them? What is the sentence or what's the response when people hear you, right? Like you just randomly having a conversation in the grocery store, right? And you find somebody that you went to school with or something. And they're like, oh, what are you up to? And you somehow get to your nonprofit. And they're like, oh, you got a nonprofit? Tell me more. What do you do? In that moment, what do you say? Who wants to take a shot at it? Who wants to write right now in the chat what you say? Because they're going to be moment after moment after moment, just like that. And you got to be ready. You got to be confident. You got to be unapologetic. One more, you got to be relentless, right? You got to be ready at all times because you never know who you're standing in front of. You never know who they know. And when they hear about what you're doing and when they see the passion, because I know all of y'all are passionate. I know all of y'all are in this because you want to help somebody, right? When they see that, when they hear that, and because they know you, they're even more interested than somebody who you cold calling on the street or somebody that you're just cold emailing. That person in front of you who already has a connection to you is going to listen to you because they already know you. So my question is, what are you going to say? And Jemiah said, I don't want another child to go through what I went through. Right? Powerful story. I don't want somebody to go through what I went through. Dia says, advocate for the success of young men of color through providing scholarships, community-centered solutions, mentorship, and through promoting gun violence awareness. Whoa, Dia, you're doing a lot. What's the name of your organization? And the one thing that I would share is when you're pitching, because I'm going to talk about this on day 5. On Friday, we're going to talk about the formula that I use for pitching that you all can use for yourself. But always remember that you're focusing on what could be as a result of them helping you. What could be? What's possible? What happens as a result? What's the outcome that you're looking for? What's the transformation? Who is going to be transformed? Because people are attracted to that part. They're not necessarily, they want to know what you're doing and what you're into, but they're more so interested in, well, what happens as a result? Who has changed? Who's better? Is it somebody I care about? Is it something I care about? So for me, if it's a young Black boy, I'm instantly interested because I got all godsons. I'm instantly interested, right? So you want to center on the who it matters to, right? Like who's changed, who's different as a result. And people become connected to that. Because have you ever had a conversation with somebody and you're sharing something good you're doing and people just start sharing, they just start being like, oh, I've always wanted to do that, or I've always been interested in that. Oh, I never knew that was happening. Oh my gosh. Like if y'all knew what was happening in the foster care system right now, y'all would be appalled. I should just do a live just to talk about foster care in this system right now, in America right now. You all would want to give to somebody if you heard what's happening in that system. So that's where you're coming from when you're talking about people, when you're pitching. It's not just pitching because you want money. That's not when I say the word pitch, that's not what I mean. And I break this down on Friday. I just mean, how can you spread your message to people who care about the message and who care about you? And what are you going to say to get that message across? How are you going to say it? How are you going to frame it? And you better do it in a story and you better make it powerful because what you're doing is powerful. It is. It's so important. It's so important. Y'all are literally creating safety nets for people. There are people who have nothing left. They have nobody else to turn to. But because you decided to start a nonprofit, they have hope. So what is that hope that you're bringing to your area? What is that hope you're bringing to your community? Hold on to that and share that. Okay? Oh, y'all, I just got I'm getting a little emotional. Okay? So let's recap, y'all. And I'm going to roll through the comments because I feel like I missed a lot of comments. So let me roll on through. But if you have not signed up for my challenge, my free 5-day challenge, you need to make sure you do because you're going to get this information. I just gave y'all surface. Okay? This is just surface stuff. We go way deep. I do not do fluff. I teach intensely every night. So we're going live every night, 9 p.m. in my private Facebook group. If you're not signed up, you won't know. You get text reminders, you get email reminders. So make sure you guys are tuned in. And Yolanda's dropping the link to the challenge. So make sure you log in or you sign up. So we're going to talk about leadership. That's number 1. Number 2, we're going to talk about your board. Number 3, we're going to talk about money. Number 4, we're going to talk about programming. And number 5, we're going to talk about pitching. Okay? So let's roll through the comments and see. Let's see. Oh, Jemiah's going off in the chat. I see you. Twyla said, we're working on building a tiny home pod community for homeless single parents and children, giving them access to home ownership through community self-development and healing. Yes. I love that. There's so many issues with homelessness in this country. It's just, I feel like we're all being run out. Like they just want to get to the point where nobody can afford to live. We can't afford to eat, can't afford to live. Where are we going to go? We can't all be on the street. Shoot. All right. Dia said, just wrote my first sponsorship proposal and was so proud of myself. Congratulations, Dia. You're going to get a yay too. You got to go, girl. All right. Let me look at my Instagram. Shanae said, support and empower youth affected by parents who have mental illness, substance abuse, and or incarceration. Yes, help the babies because they need it. Real Credit Champ said, I have a nonprofit that helps homeless vets that are coming from an incarceration learn financial literacy and use their VA loan to start their future today. Look at that. Nice. Look at that. Y'all go ahead and check out Real Credit Champs. All right. Let me roll through. So I want to make sure I got all the comments. Got all the comments. All right. So what's one thing y'all learned from the live today? Drop it in the chat. If you know somebody is not on here and you know they need this information, make sure you tag them. Make sure you share with them what I'm talking about and say, hey, y'all missed it. Tiffany was talking about this. Y'all better make sure y'all check it out because Tiffany might take this video down. Because yes, Tiffany saves her live videos for her VIPs on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch this information, make sure you check it out. All right. And if you need the VIP pass, so if you want to ask me questions directly about what we're talking about, you can sign up for the VIP pass. You get your success kit. You can work on your homework sheets and you can show up on Zoom and ask me questions. And you got me 5 days this week. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you collaborate with each other, follow each other, all of the good things. We're building a community here because we are all we got. So we got to support each other, okay? Y'all, I see you next week. And if no, I'm not going to see you next week. I'm going to see you tomorrow. I'm going to see you tomorrow in my Facebook group. If you don't know the name of the Facebook group, it's called Money on a Mission. Go on Facebook, join Money on a Mission. Make sure you accept the group rules because we're not letting you in unless you do. Okay? And I will see you tomorrow, Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all can stay up for a little bit. I'm not going to be that long, I promise. All right, y'all. Good night.